Do you think that Ime Udoka is going to coach again in the NBA?
I wish he would have gotten the net job.
Yeah, because there was a rumor that he was going to the Nets.
That would have been
Did not happen.
I think it would have been a great thing if he got the net job. And I'm a friend of Nia Long. And if Nia Long was so good about being quiet about it and not talking about it, I take my hat off to her. She knows things like this do pass.
Yeah.
So God bless her.
I mean, while you were playing for the NBA, were you having relations with other employees of the organization?
No. So
Never.
that was another thing too. I don't think she was an employee.
Well, no, the person that he allegedly slept with was an employee.
Really?
And I believe was married at the time and so forth.
Oh.
I'd actually heard some other stuff that I'm not going to put out there about, I think there's multiple women and one of which was kind of high up the ladder in terms of her husband and so forth.
Well, then, and I'm going to say this, and I'll say this, and I don't know what the truth is, but it takes two to tango.
Absolutely.
And he didn't rape them. So.
At all.
So those were 2 consenting or 4 consenting adults who agreed that if we can find some space, we're going to find out some space. And that's that. That has nothing to do with, and that's in any part. I mean, there's tons of places that tell you the only cheerleading squad allowed to date the athletes are the Raiders.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's you're the only one. You're known. You can't date cheerleaders. They tell you that. Don't date the cheerleaders.
I mean,
you can't.
Look, when I had Nick Young on here, he mentioned one of the players that, one of the teams he played on that was messing around with the cheerleader. I think Matt Barnes said that he may have dated some people, some of his teams. Some teams, they just don't care. It's like, whatever.
Well, it gets in the way. It gets in the way. Obviously, you see, it gets in the way of greatness because he was on the verge of greatness.
Yeah, I mean, he was in the finals his first year of coaching. I mean, and the Celtics are doing really well this year also, which is not good. It's
also proves that his team.
Yeah.
But it's also proves that they built a strong enough team.
They built a strong team. Listen, I'm personally like, you're right. It's 2 consenting adults. I mean, shit. Elon Musk impregnated one of his employees. Bill Gates got married to one of his employees.
Right.
Like this, you put people in the vicinity, things are going to happen. Me personally, as a business owner, I always thought it was dumb. And I always stayed away from me getting into relations with employees because I feel like there's so many possibility of disaster. I sleep with this person, it doesn't work out. Now I have to potentially fire the person, or I can't fire the person because they'll bring up what happened, and I just like.
So then you should realize you've been set up from the beginning that the person was only secure. They didn't really like you. They were secure in their position.
Exactly, and so to me, it's almost like, Ime has this incredible opportunity, and he's just thinking with his dick, like it's just dumb. Let's just take the Nia Long shit out of it, even if he was single.
Right.
You don't shit where you eat.
You shouldn't.
You shouldn't. And here's what happens when you do. You're given an incredible, and some of these, I can imagine if you got like Miss Universe that you like, some of these pictures would come out like, wow, you fucked your whole career up for her. Okay.
But it's really, and this is what I say, it really had nothing to do with the female that was in the position. It had everything to do with, as they would say, I was horny. And when you're horny, obviously your brain is not getting the blood supply you're normally supposed to get.
You could still make decisions, man.
And guess what? He made bad ones.
That was a bad decision. I don't
made
think
a bad decision.
No one's sticking up for him. And so
I'm sticking up for him.
I'm sticking up for him. Right.
The point of he's a man that made it a really, really poor decision.
Decisions.
And it didn't work in his favor. It was a poor decision. I'm happy my friend got out of that situation. I'm happy Nia.
So is Nia Long and Ime broken up now?
I think that was the case anyway, right? So I'm only going on what I didn't talk to her about.
Oh, you didn't talk to her about it, yeah.
But I heard that they were already broken up.
Oh.
And
no, wait. She was moving to Boston.
Right, trying to make things right. But they were going through it.
Okay.
As all relationships do.
Who knows? Yeah.
The best thing about it is she didn't get hurt.
Well, publicly.
She didn't get hurt. She may have gotten her feelings hurt and her name mentioned.
Yeah.
And every time they mention her name, they got to mention him after all the accolades and greatness that people bestow upon her.
Remember when he made it to the finals, she made the video of like cheering and going crazy and everything else like that. Yeah,
and guess what? He now doesn't have that cheerleader.
No, he does not.
He has a different one. That was funny. Y'all, that was funny. Funny's funny. Funny's funny. I don't care. My cousin Mike Oda would say, funny's funny.
Funny's funny.
Funny. A win's a win.
A win's a win. As we're actually talking, an interview came out with Nia Long, with the Hollywood Reporter, talking about the Ime Udoka situation.
Really?
So she actually finally broke her silence. And she said this. She said, I think the most heartbreaking thing about all of this was seeing my son's face when the Boston Celtics organization decided to make a very private situation public. She was actually taking her son to school when the news broke. She said it was devastating, and it still is. He still has moments where it's not easy for him. If you're in the business of protecting women, I'm sorry, no one from the Celtics organization has even called to see if I'm okay, to see if my children are okay. It's very disappointing.
Yeah, I lost a really cool friend. I didn't lose him, but there was this guy I was really cool with that's famous. And, when you're in the public eye, you have to deal with, which is shitty, the bad part of the public eye. I'll give you an example. When I tell people and they start talking about people like, we just finished talking about, Nia Long going through that. Mm-hmm. People forget that we're human. I said that before, right? Like they forget that you're into this situation where you're human. The only comedian, one of the comedians who I saw that had to explain to people is Dion Cole when he got on stage and had to explain to people, hey, I lost my aunt, my uncle, and my mom, and I still got to get up here and make y'all laugh. So I think Nia literally saying what's happening with her family on that point. She never really talked about her past fiance. She just talked about if you really want to protect everybody, protect everybody. Like think of what this is really going to.
Yeah.
But once again, I think they're going to protect their own interests. And when I say they, and the people in the position of power, they're going to figure out it's going to be some collateral damage, and they're going to handle that collateral damage. And Nia happened to be, and her son and the daughter are caught in the collateral damage of bad decision making.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made some bad decisions in my life.
Me too.
I mean, seriously. And when I was on the radio, I got on the radio, I apologized to my wife. I apologized to the girl involved. And my wife was mad that I apologized to the girl. And I was like, Tosh, everybody involved was involved because of my poor decision. The poor decision I made. I make a lot of great decisions, but the poor decisions I made are way less. I got more wins than losses.